Right, hello everyone. So I'll try and make it quick before the main event of lunch, of course. So I'm going to talk to you from my position in LearnSci, and we're really pleased to be here to sponsor this event. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces, and it's a pleasure to meet some new people, and so hopefully I'll get to speak to some of you at lunch or later on this evening. So my name is Leanne Williams. I made the brave leap last year from working in HE in Warwick to working for a very exciting company with LearnSci. And my role was really to liaise between academics and understanding what academics need and what students need, and helping LearnSci to develop resources that are really fit for purpose. I've had a very circuitous route into higher education. I've worked my way up from a level 1 technician in pharmaceuticals, I've worked in research, I've had an education qualification and taught in FE, inner city FE colleges. I did my PhD later on in life in sort of, my mid-30s. And then I worked at Warwick University, and I've worked my way up then to be quite experienced in educational strategy. And then, like I said, I've made a leap to work with LearnSci. The common thread through all of my career journey has been the importance of technical skills acquisition and being comfortable in a laboratory, being comfortable with data acquisition and being able to know what to do with that. So that's been the real thread for my role in Warwick, and the understanding of how important it is to identify transitional skills barriers, particularly in this particular element for students. However, how do we sort of square the circle where we're now really in a kind of new era of digital, new digital area, new era of technology-enhanced learning? And we all have been using digital resources for decades now, whether it's just the VLE that you're using to act as a repository for all the resources that you use students to access, and supporting students into accessing, different types of resources and understanding the value of those different types of resources. Asking students to actually utilize different software packages to create their own assessments is one of my immunology assessments, where I ask students to create figures and figure legends for a paper, a non-existent paper that we write together, and that's quite interesting to see how students are already really quite accessing really good softwares to allow them to make their journey through education a bit more creative and a bit more exciting. Of course, we use interactive resources as well that can allow students to help navigate that skills development, and whether that's before labs, during labs, or after labs, to help them really kind of hone their skills in that practical area. And of course, the majority of the digital innovations that we're actually using are to help support students. But what I want to talk a little bit about is actually something about equitable teaching and learning. Now, some of you will sort of be familiar with this little image I've got here, where when I'm talking to academics, and we talk to academics across the globe in this sector, one of the very common themes, of course, is the pressures that we're all under, the challenges that we face, the different types of students that are now arriving at our doors with different knowledge gaps before they even enter into our institutions. We're all pressured, the squeeze between education and the teaching quality and our research, and being able to balance those is actually becoming really challenging. So I think we need to talk about equitable teaching and learning, so innovations that help us as practitioners as well as helping students as well, and I think that's really important. When we are transitioning from looking at sort of more traditional-based learning approaches, whether that's the good old-fashioned handwritten resources or whether we're using digital resources, the transition into being more innovative is actually quite difficult. So one of my roles in LearnSci was to look at the resources that they have. So I think I've got a little animation here. So I spent a long time looking at the resources, looking at the features of these resources, the quality of the data that students get to use, the instant feedback that students get when they're practicing these skills in these very low-stakes resources that we are generating. The ability for students to make mistakes and be okay with that. I'm wondering if you guys know like I do, that students feel really worried about making mistakes because there's such a lot of pressure on them to get things right all the time. Being able to understand your students' knowledge gaps, and so having immediate feedback and immediate metrics can really help you to be flexible in what you're delivering in your subjects. And so I looked at all of these features. I talked to academics. Obviously, I'm experienced with teaching students. and figuring out what we actually need, what academics need and what the learners need as well. So I devised, I mapped the features and the key features of the resources that LearnSci develop. And I looked at those features and I looked at understand the benefits of what those features are. And so looking at, sorry, I have to look at the main screen here. The learning cycle, the way that the smart worksheets are actually structured, the way that they're auto-graded and the feedback that you get, the data, the different types of data that we can utilize in these smart worksheets, how the learner analytics can help us to inform and also inform your own practitioner inquiry as well, and the internal quality assurance that they can actually provide by creating a standardization across the teaching components. The benefits of those and the values of those to you as academics as well as to the students is really quite fantastic. And I was so keen for us to explore these a bit further. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was how complicated that is. Now, anyone who's involved in educational strategy knows that even just creating one assignment is really difficult. Creating an assignment that's really fit for purpose takes a lot of thought and a lot of practice and a few little tweaks. And so you'll realize that trying to make these connections between the features of the way that a smart worksheet is structured, I looked at the different types of the learning cycle that it actually helps to maintain, the very task-oriented, the outcome-driven using constructive alignment. There's a lot of other elements about the learning cycle that I could can unpick from this, and then understanding how that correlates then to the benefits of those low-stakes remedy of error, the value of understanding error, and building self-regulation and self-support seeking behavior, and then the values of those to us as academics as well as to students. And so utilizing this framework and looking at the back catalogue of what LearnSci have developed over the years, work with over 200 academics across the globe, we were actually to derive from that back catalogue of about 1,000 smart worksheets and really drive that into a really concentrated library of products using the framework that we went through and that I looked at in terms of the features and the benefits, and some strict criteria such as high-end values of practitioners and learners, high user numbers, fundamental core knowledge and skills, and formative and summative pre- and post-lab resources, evidence-based added value, and quality of feedback, clarifying that guidance. So all of the smart worksheets that we've actually created meet all of those criteria. They also meet the framework that I went through and used that mapping exercise, and now we've created this really exciting biological catalogue. No matter what digital resources you use, whether you use a platform, whether you just use VLEs, however you provide your digital support for your students, the smart worksheet catalogue can slot into any of those provisions you have. The key message that I hear from any academic across the globe when I'm talking to them is still that numeracy and confidence in handling data acquisition, and what to do with that data is still something that students are struggling with. So we focus a lot on understanding the core fundamental elements of that, providing these really nice flexible learning resources that can slot into your provision. Students can use them as and when, flexibly. They can be used formatively before, during, or after labs, or they can be used summatively, and there's no marking involved, so that's always a really good benefit. And so have a look at these. So the ways that you can use them are innumerable. So you can use them to run smart workshops, smart assessments, labs, you can use them before and after labs, and smart practice. So basically you can use these as and when you want. Students can utilize them and access them to help support their knowledge beforehand, filling in those knowledge gaps. You can then provide your delivery, and then you can actually use these afterwards as well if you want to consolidate information and consolidate learning. And the real kind of benefit to these is that, again, you get almost instant metrics. So you can provide some smart worksheets, find out where those gaps are, understand where your delivery needs to focus on, and then focus on that for your workshop. So you're actually focusing on the things that the students are actually struggling with rather than trying to cover everything. And we've got some really good evidence from Bristol that show us that that works really well. And so there are a number of ways that you can actually use these resources. So if you think there is anything in this library that you think could help in your delivery, in your module, in your department, please come and see us. We're really excited about this particular library. It's really high quality resources. derived, like I said, from a really big bank of resources that have been developed over the years with academics that are, exceptional educationalists, and they all managed to meet this criteria that we've struck, and really high quality. So have a look, come and see us. We'll talk to you about what we can do to help you. Also, we're really interested in helping you with practitioner inquiry. If you want to conduct some research, if you've got colleagues that are interested in conducting research to help with their career progression, let us know. We can come and help you think about what research questions you can use, how you can utilize even just one smart worksheet to make a big difference in value added into your teaching, as well as students' learning and student learning gain. And we can talk to you a bit about that and how we can support you in that. So thank you for listening. Very quick, rapid view of our really new product, and I really would like you to come over and have a look and a chat. Thanks for listening. This is the team. We're all really keen to support you, and so please let us know. We'll come and visit, or we'll arrange a call and we can talk to you about what we might be able to do to help to support you.